Hi, my name is Wally. I am a dancing and MP3 playing toy sold by the Walt Disney Corporation. I am also a sales technology enthusiast, and this is why my friends at whycrmdoesnotwork.com hired me. They could not afford a real actor and Jack Welch was unavailable, so here I am. Bear with me, I am very new at this. In this presentation about the reasons why CRM fails mid-size organizations, we will draw upon our previous talks and get to the crux of the matter. CRM does not work because there is nothing in it for any of the stakeholders involved. The salesperson and the CEO bear the bulk of the CRM cost in time and money, yet they get surprisingly little in return. Despite the fact that the CRM application is essentially centered on his needs, the sales manager does not get the visibility and manageability he was promised by the software vendor. For examples to substantiate the following analysis, you may revert to our case study and list of reasons why CRM fails at whycrmdoesnotwork.com. Let's start. Salespeople do not benefit directly from CRM. In theory, salespersons should benefit from the centralization of information and easy access to leads, contacts, addresses, opportunities, cases, quotes, sales, call notes, or payment history. This information would originate from them as well as from other departments of the organization. In practice, they do not get much out of CRM systems. Most of the information they can access is information they entered themselves. CRM amount to little but work being shifted around, increased or done differently. Before CRM, salespersons could print reports prior to their trips and rely on factory or back office staff to answer their calls and questions while on the road. With CRM, salespersons are expected to do more work alone, be it from the office or on demand from home, the car, or the hotel. Instead of using their email application as an address book, salespersons now have to use a separate database for contact data, notes, appointments, and call reminders. With leads coming from all directions and qualification being monitored, more time must be spent making cold calls and writing reports. They have to maintain addresses for mailing purposes and enter profiling information so that demographics can be compiled. They do not see the point. Salespeople have little time and attention to spend away from their selling function. Yet CRM's administrative tasks and sometimes complex functionalities require that they do so. CRM comes at a high cost for salespeople. The information gathered into the CRM is often too abundant and complex to be absorbed or too partial to be relevant. They may wonder how this information could be of any use to their management, and if it really justifies so much extra work on their part. All they can see is that it makes them more easily replaceable and that it increases the risk of arbitrary judgment against them. For many of them, the visibility that comes with CRM is simply visibility over their shoulder, and CRM is a dangerous thing for that matter. Salespeople like good, proactive, and empowering sales managers. They hate the reactive ones, the office politicians, and conference room speech givers who seem not to know that the easy sales are long gone, and that there is more to sales management than control and coercion. CRM sends the wrong signal. The commoditization, the mechanization of the sales function, and the textbook vision of sales embodied in CRM send a negative signal to the sales force. They imply management disregard of the personal relationships that salespeople build with customers, and the importance of their creativity. Most importantly, they suggest management unawareness or disparagement of the fact that what really makes a difference is what salespeople give voluntarily, their loyalty, enthusiasm, and entrepreneurship. In other words, the extra mile. It is not so much the processes embodied in CRM that pose problem for salespeople. They merely emulate practices that already exist in most organizations. It is the fact that CRM gives managers, in or out of their departments, a mean to overburden, overcontrol, and micromanage. With CRM, salespeople have less room for trial and error, for creativity, and for learning. They can't take risks and stray from standard practices, but they can no longer afford to fail. Their existence is mechanized. They have become, like factory workers have since the Industrial Revolution. In the books of corporations, and in their very lives, they have become a cost subjected to an asset, the CRM system, and a human resource like any other. CRM shatters trust and motivation in mid-size corporations, and it can suggest management incompetence. As a result, salespeople do not fully participate in the CRM initiative. CEOs have no use for CRM either. In theory, CEOs should benefit from CRM. As ultimate decision makers in matters of investment, they welcome efficiencies in customer retention and acquisition. As strategists and planners, they benefit from increased visibility. As stewards of the shareholder assets in a knowledge-based economy, they appreciate better retention and use of information. However, as CRM shortchanges the salesperson, it also shortchanges the sales process itself, the sales department, the company, and its CEO. CRM is costly in time and money, and yet it is hard for the CEO to attach a positive dollar value to anything anyone does with CRM. In place of efficiency gain, the CEO sees losses, loss of hours spent in administrative tasks and away from customers, loss of motivation, and ultimately loss of productivity as activity needlessly increases. Instead of transparency, the CEO sees confusion. The reports and forecasts coming from the CRM system are less credible than the reports traditionally made with Excel and signed off by managers. There was no computer to blame if errors slipped through. Presumable gains in employee accountability are also questionable. The way employees use the CRM system is not necessarily a good gauge of their level of activity. Phone call logs and weekly customer visit logs are simpler and more reliable indicators. CRM even fails the sales managers. In theory, sales managers should benefit from a tool aimed at helping them organize and control their team. In contrast with other department managers, who already have software, they still rely solely on hierarchy, human interaction, and administrative tasks to do their job. It is tedious, time-consuming, and imprecise. Sales managers welcome automation as a way to free time and reduce errors. Immersed in a customer-centric business culture, they seek to be the eye of the company on its market. They long for increased visibility. In reality, CRM cripples the sales department instead of oiling its gears and expanding its reach. Because of its flaws and the low sense of ownership at the bottom and at the top of the hierarchy, it ultimately fails to deliver even on its promises to the sales manager. CRM works for software vendors, not for mid-size corporations. The problem with CRM is not ultimately the absence of buy-in at both ends of the hierarchy, as is often explained by vendors, consultants, and journalists. The problem is what causes the absence of buy-in, the manager centricity of CRM, and the fact that it is built on a wrong assumption. Both come from the software industry. CRM is not the result of a thorough analysis by software vendors of the true needs of the sales and marketing departments of mid-size companies and their staff. If CRM were the result of a scrupulous analysis of their needs, it would not fail in 70% of the cases. CRM is born from the conjunction of two factors: first, the ubiquity of networking combined with the declining cost of servers, and second, the need for the enterprise software industry to find new outlets for its ware after the saturation of the ERP market. The computerization of the sales department along the lines of what had been done for the other departments was a logical and incremental step for the software industry. The hardware infrastructure was affordable or already in place. The market was ripe. Most customers still assumed that business software investments always led to strong returns. Addressing sales managers directly, rather than IT employees, vendors helped managers envision an integrated and automated sales department. The vendors imposed as a standard a software that met their own standards and the needs of large corporations, but not those of mid-size organizations. The manager centricity of CRM chokes the sales process. CRM considers sales from the point of view of the sales manager, and its aim is essentially to provide department-level or administrative efficiencies. The manager centricity of CRM is a feature of enterprise software. If CRM did not claim to help the manager organize and control the sales team, vendors would have no other customer in the sales department with an interest in their ware and with the means to acquire it. In trying to make life easier for the sales manager, CRM puts the burden on others and makes life harder for the sales team. It creates extra work, duplications, and confusion. Ultimately, it undermines the central role of the salesperson in mid-size corporations. It overlooks the fact that what salespeople do, with the support of customer service and marketing, matters more to the bottom line than the communication that exists between these functions within the sales or front office department. CRM is built on a wrong assumption. The second problem that causes the absence of buy-in is the fact that CRM does not either keep its promise to deliver department-level or administrative efficiencies. CRM is entirely built on the assumption that what enterprise software vendors offer, integration and automation, in and by themselves can bring so much efficiency and visibility to the sales department that it will help customer retention and acquisition. This assumption is wrong. It is a transposition of the ERP recipe to the sales department. It may be valid in the call centers of large enterprises, but it is not in the sales department of mid-size organizations. So what is so wrong with CRM? What is the root cause of the problem? This is what we will talk about in our next presentation, which can be found at whycrmdoesnotwork.com. Thank you.